general awareness, financial awareness on daily basis, and just brushing up my knowledge with reading bare acts and all, as academic writing in legal domain and academic consultancy, which which I continued.
Everyone, welcome to the Legal Bee channel. Today we have Himanshu Agarwal, one of our students who has cracked IBPS RRB this year. And we are keen on listening how he prepared for this particular exam and, any strategy and tips that he would like to give all of us. Hi, Himanshu. First of
Hello,
all,
ma'am.
congratulations for clearing IBPS RRB examination.
Thank you, ma'am.
How was the experience? How are you feeling?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, first of all, thank you for giving me an opportunity to express my feelings.
Mhm.
And yes, I'm feeling very good. I'm a government officer now. Yes, it was definitely not an easy experience, but I learned many things across my journey. And yeah, that's it. It's a
Okay,
very
can
good
you
feeling, like I'm having mixed emotions, sort of.
I'm sure, because it's a big achievement, right? Something that you've been preparing towards for a long time.
Yes.
Himanshu, can you tell me a little bit about your profile so that the users have a fair understanding what your background looks like?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Ma'am, I belong from Jaipur. I've done my schooling from Jaipur step by step high school, and after I was from commerce background. In 2016, I pursued my BA LLB from Indraprasth University. It was a 5 years integrated course, and after passing out in 2021, I have been preparing for government exams only. Though I was not sure in which domain I am particularly willing to go, but I was sure that I want a government job. That's it. And for that, I have been preparing from like almost 5 years now.
So, as soon as you graduated, was it like you jumped into competitive exams, or did you like try to take any professional experience, be it in litigation or in corporate laws?
Ma'am, I was not so keen in taking any sort of experience. I was very sure that I need a government job. And initially, because I was from law background, I started preparing for judicial exams. And I have prepared for Rajasthan judicial exams, Delhi judicial, and I have appeared for them also. But unfortunately, I couldn't crack them. But yes, so I was not keen on taking any such professional experience. But because at that time I could not crack like judicial exams, so I started working on sidelines to earn some amount so that I do not like force myself upon my family to sponsor me, to be very honest.
Okay, so like when you say that you were doing this freelancer job, like
Yes,
was
ma'am.
it related to anything law or was it like generic anything that has to do with content writing or XYZ?
Ma'am, initially when I started with practicing only. I have practiced in Rajasthan High Court, Jaipur District Court and all. But uh, slowly, gradually, I realized that practicing was not my cup of tea.
Mhm.
And it, like, honestly, practice does not give you much, even the basic, when you are a new beginner and you do not have a legacy in practice. So I just switched from practice. Unfortunately, as I passed in COVID era, so we could not get like corporate placements and all. So I jumped on to doing some sort of academic writing in legal domain and academic consultancy, which which I continued for quite a long time with my preparation.
So was this experience also like mentioned during your time, when you were sitting for interview, or was it something that you knew yourself, but it, have you like when you were giving the interview, have you told them that okay, fine, I have been dealing with academic counseling, or have you just mentioned Rajasthan High Court?
Honestly, I did not prefer mentioning my sideline job because it could have given a sort of, not to say negative, but like how to express that. Why were you doing these kind of things when you were preparing for government exams only? So I do not wanted to make it complicated. So I just quoted that I have been practicing for 2, 3 years now and my domains of practice, just to keep it simple.
So were these freelancer jobs like a full-time job that, required you to give at least 5 days a week? Or were it like totally on freelance basis, like you can pick it up as and when you like?
Yeah, ma'am, honestly, it was not that I have been freelancing for like 3 to 4 years continuously. For around six months to 1 year, I did freelancing, and rest of the time I was involved full time only. So it was like working 6 days a week from Monday to Saturday. Although it was work from home because I was preparing also, but it was like completely a full time remote job, working Monday to Saturday, 10 to 6, like a complete.
Correct. And how did you basically, try to balance job with your preparation?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it was indeed a difficult job balancing my preparation with job also, because you cannot compromise with your job also when it is your bread and butter specifically.
Mm,
So what I did was I believed in consistency, in keeping consistency. Yes,
mm,
I could not give 6 to 8 hours or 10 hours on a daily basis, but I made sure that I studied and practiced for about 1 to 2 hours at least on a daily basis.
mm.
So like uh, in early morning or late nights for around 1 to 2 hours, specifically focusing on the subjects which need practice only, like
Mm.
quants, reasoning, reading general awareness, financial awareness on daily basis, and just brushing up my knowledge with reading bare acts and all. As o- obviously legal knowledge was uh, easy for me because I was a law student only. So for bare acts, I was just focusing on revising them on daily basis, giving 30 minutes to 1 hour while traveling, non-traveling. So that was.
Himanshu, like this is what my understanding is, right? What you do in law school has actually not much to add when you sit for competitive exams, because the preparation that is required for competitive exams is quite different than what is expected out of you in law school, right?
Yes,
Um, and secondly, I also feel that a lot many students, they haven't taken law subjects quite seriously when they are in law school. So once they enter the competitive domain is when they actually put in efforts to study it for the very first time.
can say, ma'am.
Um, so how did you manage both these aspects? Considering you had a job, you also had to manage QRE and GA portion with it. You had to learn it, and of course, revision is something that you retain it. Looking
Yeah.
at the exhaustive syllabus of RRB, there are so many legislations. How did you manage to retain the majority of these legislations in one go?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, to start with, as you mentioned that not many students take uh, college
Got
seriously,
it.
but fortunately, I was not one of them. I have been quite fair in my studies since school only. So in my college, I did take my studies quite seriously, and it eventually helped me in my competitive studies.
Mm.
Just because I was quite like brushed up in the subjects, like at that time we had IPC, CRPC, CPC and all. So I was well aware of the important provisions which are asked, because I always prefer analyzing previous year questions and papers. So to get an idea of what can be asked, what provisions are most likely to be asked in these sort of examinations. So yes, it helped me a lot because I always in law school also took my studies seriously. I was never like just taking in a joking way कि ठीक है हो जाएगा. So yes, it helped me a lot. And practicing obviously is very important. Practicing MCQs on a daily basis, making small targets and trying to achieving them on a daily basis eventually helps you achieve the bigger goal, which fortunately I did.
How many mocks did you give?
Ma'am, as far as mocks are concerned, in the last 3 4 months before the examination, I gave around like I focused on 3 to 4 mocks, at least full length mock test in a week, 3 to 4, and sectional mocks were like quite frequent. Sectional mocks, I would like to give at least one or two on a daily basis for different subjects. Like for quants reasoning, I preferred on a daily basis because practice makes
All the
you
difference, yeah.
perfect in these kind of subjects. And
Yeah.
for legal, I used to give mocks like uh, 2 days and 3 days. And I kept revising on a daily basis just to make sure that I retain the important provisions, because there are several provisions, articles, and sections which you need to retain. And in the exams like RRB and IBPS SO and all, what I did analyze that the questions are not more like, they are not very deep. They are not conceptual or something like that. They majorly they focus on provision based questions, like what is the provision for a particular offense, or what is the provision for national emergency, like if we go in constitution. So this is how it was.
Yeah, I mean, it focuses majorly on bare act verbatim. There are a
Yes.
few questions related to section number and article numbers, but the probability or the number of those questions are quite low, right?
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
too much. So when you said that you gave these mock tests and, your sectional test, of course, you did a lot of analysis also, I'm sure, after giving these mock tests. Can you tell the users and the watchers as to how did you analyze these mocks? And how did you manage to implement that analyzation going forward, while revising those legislations or those subjects?
Ma'am, as far as analysis is concerned, yes, it is very important, because just giving the mocks,
Yeah.
checking the scores, and feeling happy if you score good or feeling low if you score bad does not works at all. That is just a mere formality. As far as analysis is concerned, I used to focus on those sections, so to say, like on those parts which I did study. Like
Hmm.
if I am giving a mock for a particular portion which I have studied, then I would only check that part, that I'm not going wrong in that specific portion which I have studied. If I have, say, not studied any chapter,
Right.
and some of the questions have been asked from that chapter only. So if I go wrong in that part, then it doesn't matter, because eventually I would be studying it. But
Correct.
if I have studied and revised some part, like
Hmm.
chapter 3 in Constitution, or offenses related to human body in
Correct. Hmm.
BNSS, or
Yeah.
BSc,
Yeah.
obviously in that case it is not helping me, because it would be considered as a negligence, because I have studied something and then also I am getting questions wrong in that part. That is, I have not studied it properly, or I am ignoring certain things.
Right.
So that is the main part of the analysis. Rest, if you have not studied something and if you go wrong there, then like it's
It's
fine,
understandable.
because
Yeah.
you would be eventually studying it. That is pretty obvious.
Right. So I think, Himanshu, this also happens a lot with a lot of students, right? When they have covered specific parts, let's say they have covered specific parts of Constitution, which constitutes one of the major aspects of your examination, sometimes you do end up getting a question wrong, right? Even if
Yes.
you've studied that part. So, how, I'm sure this has happened with, and this happens with everybody.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
if something like this happens, how did you make sure that this mistake or that particular provision or a question, sort of related to that particular provision, or a question that is based on the same sort of standards, right? Asking you section numbers. How did you ensure that no such mistake or no such negligence on your part sort of happens again?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in that case, yes, analysis.
Hmm.
That is why we do the analysis. That what is the reason I am getting wrong again and again in the same part? Like, there are some cases wherein you are unable to retain, like, if I say in my case, I did proceed with making acronyms or something like that, so that I do not get wrong again and again, because then
Correct.
it becomes a trend. If
Hmm.
you are not trying to break that chain, then you are in a, we can say, a vicious circle, that you would be getting the question wrong yet again.
Right.
So you need to make something unorthodox, or you can do it. Like, it is my belief, like I proceeded with making acronyms. It
Hmm.
may seem vague, but it worked for me.
No, it's
So
not vague at all. I mean, when I
yes,
was studying for competitive exams, and I think this is one thing that I suggest, legislations are very content heavy, and specifically for sitting for these exams, they require you to study and, at least learn the indexes of various legislations
yes,
that
ma'am.
becomes a part of your subject. And
Yes, ma'am.
there is absolutely no, um, like there's no application of mind to retain those. Like you have to ultimately cram them up. That's
Yes,
the only
yes,
way out. And I think one of the best ways is by making certain mnemonics and acronyms to fairly and sort of quickly and fastly sort of learn that particular indexes. So I
yes,
think that's
ma'am.
a great strategy.
Thank you, ma'am.
um Coming to another thing, if you can briefly tell me how much time did you allocate to each subject that becomes a part of your syllabus?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, honestly, equal weightage.
Okay,
Because if you see the syllabus or the curriculum of this particular exam,
right,
they all carry equal marks,
right.
except from English and computer. But it can also be considered as the same because the questions asked are same in number.
Hmm.
Only the weightage of questions is 50%, but the questions are 40 only. So you need to give equal weightage in order to ace these exams. You cannot proceed with doing that. You just make your legal super strong and you avoid other sections because the main catch is sectional cutoff.
Hmm.
You may clear the overall cutoff, you may get like 40, 50, 60 marks above the overall cutoff, but if you are even 0.25 short in any of the section, then you are out of the race. So equal weightage is necessary, what I believe.
So, I mean, while you were also managing a job, Himanshu, like, you have cons, you have reasoning, you have GA, you have English, you have computers, and I think computers and English is still something manageable that you can pick up, I would say, at the end of, or, when you're closer to the exam deadline.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then you have legal, right, which is also quite extensive. You have around 15 plus legislations that becomes a part of your syllabus easy. So, my whole idea is that. So how much time did you allocate to each of these parts? What did you do quants and reasoning every single day? Was it alternate days? Was it alternate weeks? What was your strategy when it came to managing and giving this equal time to all subjects?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to say that because I was not preparing for only RRB specialist officer, I have been preparing for bank PO exams also, clerical exams also from the last 4 to 5 years.
Hmm.
So it became my discipline to practice at least quants and reasoning on a daily basis, like we do our daily routine.
Hmm.
So, like it it was in my muscle memory that I need to practice 20-25 questions of quants on a daily basis, like simplification, number series, some questions of arithmetic, selective chapters, and 2-3 puzzles of reasoning and miscellaneous on a daily basis. For legal, for English, honestly, I have always relied on my gut feeling. I would not like to sugarcoat anything. And in legal, I used to study like on a daily basis only, ma'am. Like it was not like free twice a week or thrice a week or fortnight. No, nothing like that. It was a part of my routine only. On a daily basis, it was possible that on some days you are not feeling that high, so you are not studying 2, 3, 4 hours. You can study 1 hour or 1.5 hours. On some days you can study more than 4 hours. But you need to keep it as a habit, as a discipline. Only then you would be able to crack the exam. This is what I believe. Discipline and consistency is the key.
Yes, 100%. And I think that goes for every exam and everything
Yes,
that you do
ma'am.
in life. I think discipline and consistency is one thing that you require. Coming to the next question that I have for you is, with regards to IxamBee, when you were preparing for these phases, what are the resources that you're going to suggest to the aspirants that you used yourself and that you think has benefited you during your time or while you were preparing for this exam?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have been following iXambi for quite a long time now.
Hmm.
From the last 2, 3 years, I have been taking coaching for SEBI Grade A
Okay.
and for RRB because it was my first attempt this year only. So I took the mock interview for RRB SO from iXambi only. And
Hmm.
yes, I am grateful because the kind of curriculum iXambi provides for, the kind of guidance, mentorship it provides for is quite great. And not every institute focusing on competitive exams provide like focuses so much on each and every student, to be
Hmm.
very honest, because I have experienced it. So for iXamB, as you were only the person taking my interview, the mock interview for RRB specialist officer, the insights which you gave me, that the cons which you told me about myself that I should work upon. Yes, it helped me a lot, ma'am. And the resources of iXamB have been very helpful to me in terms of quants practice, in terms of reasoning practice, in terms of financial awareness questions, considering containing both static as well as current component. Because nowadays it is not that only current affairs would be asked. In
Correct.
financial awareness or GA, nowadays they are like putting questions related to current also mixed with static. You need to be aware of the static foundations also. It has become a mandate. Like as far as I can recall, some of the financial awareness questions in RRB, they were related to what do you mean by IFSC code, some foundational date of some of the banks and some sections of RBI Act, which a law student is assumed to know if he's
Right.
preparing for a banking exam, because obviously he would be studying with Banking Regulation Act, RBI Act and all.
Mm.
So yes, ma'am, iXamB has been very helpful in my journey and I have been following it for a long time now.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, coming to the next question, once you gave this exam, what was your experience like when you gave the actual exam? Secondly, did you start preparing for interview as soon as your exam was done, or like did you wait for the results to come?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, answering your first question, that how was my experience giving real exam? Ma'am,
Yeah.
it was my first exam in which after completing the exam, I was pretty sure that yes, I would be clearing the
The merit list, yeah.
mains examination, so to say, because it is a single window examination.
True. Hmm.
Uh, Yes, ma'am. I was pretty sure because I did analyze the previous 7, 8 years cutoff, and I was pretty sure that cutoff is not gonna go so high. And
Hmm.
my attempts were like reasonable as far as I believe. And this practice has helped me a lot because quants and reasoning, where
Right.
students only did attempt 10, 11, 12 questions out of 40, I was able to manage 30 questions in quants out of 40 and 25 approx in reasoning, which
Hmm.
I think is a fair number for an exam like RRB because you are having four more sections to work upon. So
True.
you can like do that way. So yes, ma'am, my first instinct was that I have cleared it. And answering the second question, ma'am, I did not start immediately for interview because as every aspirant feels like a nervousness like what the result would come, although we are quite positive that yes we would be clearing it, but there is an anxiety sort of.
Yeah.
So yes, but I did not take much time to prepare for to start the preparation for interview because RRB, yeah, or any other IBPS examination do not give much time. They have
Hmm.
set a trend now after declaring the results. This year also, after 4 days, they commenced with the interviews. So you
True.
cannot prepare within those 4 days if you clear the examination. So yes, after 10 to 12 days of the examination, I did uh, avail the course for IxamBee and started preparing for my interview, ma'am.
That's great. So now coming to the next part, when you prepared for the interview, what was your, how did you go about it? Because you have the entire syllabus of legal that becomes a part of your syllabus, right? Then you have, of course, your HR questions based on your experience that you have to prepare for. General awareness questions relating to RRBs in general and the application based questions. How did you go about it? Like, where did you start your preparation from, and where did you ended it? Like, what was the trajectory of your interview preparation?
Ma'am, honestly, uh, I was blank because it was my first ever government exam interview. I
Hmm.
was not at all sure what's gonna happen, what questions would be asked, and how would I be judged upon, what are the parameters. So, and that is the reason why I purchased the course, why I took the interview course, because Uh, and after my mock interview,
Hmm.
honestly, after my mock interview, I got a structure that what parts to specifically focus on in these kind of examinations and what are the parameters on which they judge an aspirant, and how can you just increase the probability of getting good marks in interview and ensure your
Oh.
selection. So yes, ma'am, mock interview plays a very important role, and in my in this achievement of mine, mock interview did play a very crucial role, because prior to that I was completely blank. I was not aware how to start and present yourself, because in interview your presentation is the key. Your
Yeah.
knowledge has been checked in the examination only.
True. Hmm.
Even if you are not aware of some of the questions in interview, it would work. But how do you communicate that thing to the panelist? That is what they are looking for. And this is what which I learned after giving my mock. So yes, ma'am.
Were there
Mock was
any
my key.
Were there any commonalities in your mock interview and your actual interview? Like, were they, like, of course, mock interview, like you have mentioned, it has helped you understand what is required out of you.
Yes, ma'am.
But of course, you got a list of questions from mock test, but of course, they were not exhaustive. Like, there is no end to it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
Anything can be asked.
yeah. So while you were there in the actual interview, if you compare the two, the mock in the actual interview, one, what was asked in the actual interview? Secondly, were there any questions that were common that has been asked to you in the mock test that also were put to you when you were sitting for the actual interview?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would say that first of all, the level of interview in my mock and real, they were at par. Yes, which helped me a lot, because I was not given an atmosphere in the mock interview that something very grilling would be asked or something like that, so that I would have felt underconfident from there only. But
Mm-hmm.
this was not the case. My mock interview and real interview, the level were at the par. And yes, there were commonalities of some of the questions. Like I was asked about Section 13 of SURFACI Act,
Yeah.
which I was asked in my mock interview also, and you only asked the question.
True.
And
Did
apart from Section 13 SURFACI, I was asked about one state, one RRB policy.
correct.
This was also a common question.
Mm.
And because I am from Jaipur, so they did ask me about the Rajasthan Grameen Bank merger, which was
Yeah.
effective from May 1st. Uh, I also recall being asked about the division of the shares in the Grameen Bank, like
Mm.
50, 35, and 15. So
Correct.
it was also asked. And rest of the questions were related to ma'am HR questions, like basic HR questions, tell me about yourself and all. And a few legal questions in which law of torts was asked, which I thought was something unorthodox, because you do not expect such a question. Although it is expected that law of torts is something which a first year student would also be knowing.
Haha, of course.
Although
Because
it is
it's the
not,
first law subject that you
yes,
get.
it is per se not applicable very like extensively in India,
Mm.
but we have been taught law of torts in our first semester itself.
True.
So yes, ma'am, this was my experience, and yes.
One last question that I have for you is when you dealt with HR questions, okay? I mean, when you were formulating, I'm sure that you must have prepared for a lot of common questions like introduce yourself or weaknesses and strengths, and
Yes,
why
ma'am.
you want to join RRB as your, as a job profile. Why did you choose IBPS RRB and not IBPS SO? What was your strategy that you would like to give to the other watchers and users as to how do they start preparing these questions? Like, where should they stand, or what exactly they should be looking at while formulating these answers?
Ma'am, honestly, answering an HR question requires that you know yourself and you have a purpose of the career which you are seeking.
Correct.
Uh, and yes, the answers will flow automatically. It would obviously take time, because for me also, when I gave my mock interview, I didn't know myself only. I was not aware of why I like a certain music or why I like to play cricket, why I
Correct.
am choosing RRB, and that was not very positive.
Hmm.
So, uh, you need to know yourself, you need to introspect, and you need to be very straight and honest. in
Yeah.
HR questions. You do not need to sugarcoat, you do not need to present yourself in a way which looks very fancy. You
True.
just need to present your raw person, like how you are. And there obviously there is a reason why someone is preparing for an exam.
Right.
So it is obviously assumed that you would be knowing your reason. But yes, I, because I also face the same problem, I was not able to present my reason.
Right.
So in mock interview, I learned how to present yourself and how can you make it look good, make it the affirmation looks good that yes, the candidate knows how to express himself.
Right.
One main thing which I would like to point out, ma'am, that it's always good to say no, that if you are not aware of a question,
Yeah.
don't just sugarcoat and waste the time of the panel. This
Mm.
is what I learned from my mock interview. I would specifically like to acknowledge this, ma'am, because if you do not know, then you do not know. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that does not at all means that you are failing in your interview or you would be judged on that parameter.
Yeah.
Despite rather it would leave a positive impact on the panel that yes, it is possible that someone is not knowing a particular question, no
Right.
big deal, but
Right.
you need to answer straight that yes, sorry sir, I am unable to recall at the moment, because
Right.
nervousness is something which plunges off at that time.
Yeah.
In my panel, I would like to say there were 7 to 8 members, ma'am.
Mm.
So giving an government exam for the first time and appearing for the interview for a government exam, that to scale 2. So I was already facing challenges with myself at that time,
Right. Right.
and facing 7 8 members, although questions were asked by 1 or 2 members only, but
Right.
all of them observing you sitting at the center stage. So it is a completely different feeling.
Right.
So it's good to say no. If you are not knowing a question, just say I am unable to recall at the moment.
Right. No,
That
I completely agree with that because I think two key takeaways that I would also like the watchers to sort of to in order to summarize exactly what you've said is one, please do not bluff your answers. If you do not know
yes, ma'am.
something, just be very honest about it and let people know that you don't know something, right? Like it's
Exactly, ma'am.
completely okay for you not to know everything and you're not even expected to know everything out there. So please don't bluff. Even if you want to make a reasoned guess, ask for permission from the panel,
Yes,
and
definitely.
that's just going to add a bit of an extra point to your personality. That's all. Secondly, like Himanshu has also pointed out that while you are giving HR questions, it's good, right? Like make sure that you have thought about yourself, you have solid reasoning for behind every choice that you are saying, because in your interview, the main idea is that everything that you have to say has to be substantiated by reasons. I
Yes,
like
ma'am.
music. What kind of music do you like? Oh, I like Sufi music. But why do you like Sufi music? There
Yes,
has to
ma'am.
be solid reasons behind every answer that you give. And I would also suggest that in order to stand, you know, a little different, like, in order to stand out, in front of the panel, it has to be your HR questions has to be very personalized to yourself and your individual identity. Like
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
seen so many mock interviews where the candidates are stipulating, Himanshu, the very common things that you get to know, that okay, what is your strength? Oh, my strength is that I am very careful, I'm very diligent, I'm very professional, there is time management that's happening. Oh, what is your weakness? The weakness is, ma'am, I usually, I'm very particular. I'm very detail oriented person. So I take a lot of time in answering the question. These are very generic questions now. They're
Yes,
very generic answers. It looks like you have just copy pasted it from somewhere and talked about it. So make sure that when HR questions come to you, you make it personalized, like Himanshu has said, make it honest and make it also, there has to be a solid reasoning behind everything that you have to say.
yes, ma'am.
So that's one thing that I wanted to talk to you. Now, one last thing, Himanshu, this is what I have to summarize. Now, I
Right.
want you to give your bit of advice and strategies that you want the users to know about. One last piece of advice, anything. It could be multiple advices also, multiple strategies, anything that you would like all the students who are watching you as of now to sort of learn from you.
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, starting with academic advices, that Don't wait for the exam notification to come. Start early if you wish to seek something, and practice on a daily basis. It does not take much time. It is not UPSC that you need to study 12, 14 hours on a daily basis. No, you can study 2, 3 hours on a daily basis. Keep practicing, analyze your strengths, analyze your weaknesses, start working upon weaknesses. And this is the time, like February, March is the time which is the best time you can start preparing for, because anyways exam would be happening in December, I guess. So
Yeah.
you are getting 9 to 10 months, which is more than enough time to prepare uh, effectively and ace this examination. And yes, some days of low can be preferred, that you are not feeling good, but every day you are requiring some motivation, some external motivation, that does not work for a long time. Motivation should be from inside. External motivation not works, like it does not have longing. You cannot rely on that external opening, listening to a song, opening a video and just starting, and then switching off your mood after 2 days, 3 days. No, it's not working anyways. I have also faced such things, but ultimately I got to know that inside motivation is something which you need to rely upon. My motivation were my parents, my younger brother, who is a chartered accountant. I would like to give all my like credit of achievement. I have achieved nothing. My parents have achieved it, because it is their struggle, their sacrifices which have made me such a person. I have seen my father at the age of 45, 50 working to earn 10, 15,000 on monthly basis and running for that just to give a better life to their sons. My mother working as a housewife, also working as a business lady, just to ensure that they give enough resources, more than what they can afford, to their sons. So yes, ma'am, it's not my achievement, it's my parents' achievement, my mother's achievement, my father's achievement. And thanks to all of those, including you, that all of you guys have definitely wished for my success, because I believe in the concept of blessings.
Yeah.
Trust the timing of God. That's it, ma'am. Never give up attitude. Be positive in all the situations. Yes, it is not practically possible being positive, because I have faced such conditions. I do not come from very financially sound family, or a family wherein all the family members are always helping you, pushing you to achieve something. No, nowadays family members are not like that.
Yeah.
uh, you know what I am trying to
Yeah.
say. So you need to be motivated from yourself only. See your near and dear ones who rely on you, that you would definitely be achieving something one day. Very raw feelings, ma'am. Very honest
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah. No,
Yes, ma'am.
I think I would also like to say something that uh, it's it's amazing to see the bond that you have for your parents, and it's incredible to see that how you are giving all the trophy to your parents, even for all the mehnat and all the hard work that you have put into it. Himanshu, irrespective of that, nothing would have been possible without you putting in the efforts. Even for us, and I would like to say it as mentor and as a teacher, I think my efforts will only make sense if you implement it and if you put in the efforts. Ultimately, the success is yours, the effort is yours, and I would like to give you 100% credit for whatever you have achieved. Yes, there are, of course, additional sources that you would like to extend your heartfelt gratitude towards, but know that it has been you and it is you completely 100%. Nobody else gets that credit apart from you yourself. One last thing that I also want to add to a lot of students is, like you said, please do not have this give up attitude. It's okay. Take exam as a game, prepare for it like a game. You don't have to take a lot of stress for it. I know there are people around us all the time who will keep nudging us as to where you are, what you're doing, etc. Please try
Yes,
to
ma'am.
ignore those voices, because these are the same people who are going to come to you when you become successful.
Definitely, ma'am.
So they should not be the main players or the detriments for your preparation at all. And one last thing, motivation and discipline.
Yes,
Motivation
ma'am.
is something that is going to come, it is going to go. It's going to be there one day, another day, the next day, it's going to be just 50% motivation. Maybe the other day, it's going to be just 0% motivation to study. Irrespective of what your motivation is, irrespective of what's happening in your life or in your personal life or in your family, whatever, you have to ensure that you remain disciplined and you remain consistent with the daily goals that you set for yourself, because
Yes,
ultimately
ma'am.
that leads you to the road of success. And trust me, everybody, and Himanshi is here, he can also vouch for this. It looks difficult only until it does not happen for you. The moment you crack the
Yes, ma'am.
exam, the moment it happens for you, you're like, oh, it was damn easy for me. It was not so difficult. So
Yes.
trust me, it's the preparation. I know it's a very difficult phase. Stay consistent, stay disciplined. Don't let other people affect you. Just be very concentrated on what you want to do. Don't do so much in a single day that you burn out the next day. That is also one of the biggest things that I would like to say.
Yes,
Take
ma'am.
it slowly, gradually, but be consistent. The moment consistency breaks, it breaks. But remember, result is just a part of it. I know it's the ultimate goal that we all set out for, but do not focus a lot on result. Focus on your preparation. The result is going to ultimately come to you. And irrespective of whatever the scene is, for people who have successfully qualified the examination and people who haven't, I just want to tell you that people who haven't succeeded, you are still one of the best out there. You still have the potential to qualify all the other exams that are coming your way. So make sure you're consistent and you prepare well. That's it. That's it for my part. Thank you so much, Himanshu. Once again, congratulations. I
Thank you
wish
so
you
much, ma'am.
all the very best for your future. And I
Thank
hope to do
you.
more and more success stories with you, like I've said previously as well, many a times to you. I'm looking forward to see your name in the newspapers and everywhere
Thank
else
you so much,
in
ma'am.
the upcoming time. And I hope that you keep making your parents proud. And I'm very, very proud of you as your mentor and as your teacher. And so is
Thank you so much,
IxamBee as
ma'am.
an institute. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Manshu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.